National College Football Roundup, Ted. Number 21 Baylor at number 19 Oklahoma State. 2 4-0 football teams going at it. Spencer Sanders coming off possibly the best performance we've ever seen from him. And they got some pieces back on the offensive line. And that zone running scheme with Jaylen Warren, man, it's looking solid. I mean, Tay Martin and Brendan Presley are making big plays out of wide receiver. It will be interesting to see how the Baylor defense holds up. They've done some good things this year. They haven't been dominant by any means, but Terrell Bernard, your man, went down last week. Beast. So that is a big void for them to fill. I like what I've seen from Baylor's offense. I like what I've seen from Gary Bohannon so far at quarterback for the Bears. Their zone running scheme with Ebner and Smith has been very efficient. They're one of the best rushing teams. Now, their first 3 games, they didn't play anyone. So that's you got to factor that in, but they've been efficient running the football. And I just feel, and I always get this feeling, I don't know why, but I just feel like this Oklahoma State defense is going to make enough plays to win, right? That's just kind of what they do. I like what I'm seeing from Baylor, but it's in Stillwater. As long as they don't kick the ball to Treston Ebner, I think the Cowboys are going to be good.
It's such a weird game to pick because I like both defenses. I like Oklahoma State's a little bit more, but I like both defenses. It's really about whose offense do you like more. And Bohannon's done some good things. They're running the football well. He's smart. He's efficient. He'll also give you a little bit in the run game himself. Oklahoma State has been total crap offensively this season until last week against K-State. They broke out. The running game's been solid. They've shown some good things in the running game, but it's been pretty stagnant. Now all of a sudden they've broken out a little bit, and Spencer Sanders has a good game. It's been 3 years between good games for him. So do I believe that it's going to be another 3 years before he plays a good game? Was this a mirage? Was this a just stumbled upon it? Or is it something that he can actually replicate? I don't know. Whose offense do you trust more? Bohannon, really unproven, solid day against Iowa State, but we've really got one game to go off of from both of these teams, and who do you trust more? I don't know, man. Everything tells me to pick Baylor, but admittedly, everything in here is massively biased against Oklahoma State. So I don't know how to weigh that. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough. I guess I'll give Oklahoma State the edge since they're playing at home, but it would not shock me at all if Baylor went in there and not just beat them, but did it handily.
Does it change your feeling about this game at all, knowing that they will be honoring the 2011 Big 12 championship Oklahoma State team? Just a reminder, the one Big 12 championship they have in the history of the program.
What do you think about that? You know, because I know
when you've only won one, you definitely should celebrate it on its 10-year anniversary. Could you imagine? Bob?
You should celebrate it on intervals of 5 years, not 10, if it's your only one.
Could you imagine the reaction if someone called you, like if Joe Castiglione called you and was like, hey, we're going to celebrate one of the Big 12 championships? You'd be like, what? That's weird.
It'd be funny because you could celebrate. If we did a 10-year celebration, you'd have a celebration nearly every year. It'd be cool.
I suppose that's the difference in the programs.
Right.
I'm just kidding. I will say they're honoring our boy Whedon. I'm excited for him.
I'm interested in that because a lot of guys from the 2011 team are not happy with what's happened there after that. Like that was supposed to be, that was it. This is changing Oklahoma State football. This is where it all turns around. And that didn't really happen.
I can make fun of them for honoring a Big 12 championship team while also acknowledging that they whooped our ass that year.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I went to
Did
that
not
game.
go well in Stillwater for the Sooners in that one. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on. That's enough. That's enough of that. Number 8, Arkansas at number 2, Georgia. Arkansas has been the best story in college football so far. But this one, it kind of feels like a statement game for the Georgia Bulldogs. And I know Arkansas is coming off that big win over A&M, but sounds like KJ Jefferson, a little banged up. Will he be able to add to the Arkansas running game that has been so effective? Dude, I just don't think they'll be able to run it against that Georgia defensive line. I mean, those are some bad dudes along the defensive front for the Dogs. Maybe they can hit them on some bombs to Traylon Burks. I really like him, but I am excited to see Barry Odom's defense against JT Daniels in that Georgia offense. And a couple notes, does sound like Georgia is getting a few guys back for this one. Tyke Smith,
Huge.
the West Virginia transfer, who is a damn good player. Sounds like he'll be back. And then Darnell Washington, who is supposed to be a stud tight end, will be back for the Dogs. I think Sam Pittman's magic runs out in this one, man. It's in Athens. Give me the Dogs.
Yeah, it probably does, but I don't have a whole lot to go on. Like if you're taking Arkansas, it's a momentum play. It's you're saying that there's some serious belief in this team, and I'm telling you, man, I've witnessed it before firsthand that whenever people all of a sudden start feeling something special is happening, you get way more buy-in. You have more guys watching extra film. You have more guys staying after practice. You have guys deciding that we need to get extra conditioning in. Like whenever something special's happen, everyone buys in. And it just has that feeling with Arkansas right now. Is it going to be enough? Probably not, considering that they've got some nagging injury stuff going in while Georgia's starting to get healthy themselves. But I will say this. I do think that Georgia is a little overhyped right now.
Offensively?
Yeah.
Listen, I do think that Arkansas's defense is going to, I don't know what the definition of containing Georgia's offense, but I don't think Georgia's going to score 50 or anything like that in this game. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I do think that Georgia offensively is overhyped, but in effect of that, I think the whole team is overhyped. It's being like passed around out there like it's Alabama 1A and Georgia 1B. I think Georgia has flaws. I think they're good. I think they're great defensively, but offensively, I think they have flaws. And they are not above a couple of turnovers, a miscellaneous touchdown on a blocked kick or a return away from losing a football game to Arkansas in their own place. I think it's going to be a 10-point game at most.
And I will say I've watched a little more of Arkansas this week. Trey Williams, defensive end for them, wearing 55. If anyone's going to make a game-changing play, I think it's that guy. Really like him.
The front, man. They run to the ball. It's a good group.
Now you got me thinking. Like, I will say this: spread as of now, 18.5. Straight up disrespectful, man.
It is. I'm telling you, it's not on top of everything else. It's a weird year in college football, man. It is a weird year.
And Arkansas is the team that has a gajillion super seniors. Like they're old and experienced. So I'm just hoping it's entertaining. I think Georgia wins. If I had to pick someone against the spread, I'd take Arkansas. I
Right.
could see him keeping it pretty close. But I feel like this game, you have been waiting for this game for a long time because I'm not sure you root for anyone other than Oklahoma, of course. I'm not sure you root for anyone more than you root for Cincinnati. Number 7, Cincinnati at number 9, Notre Dame. Simple question for you. Who do you think the better team is?
Cincinnati.
I think you're right. I agree. And sometimes we try to break a game down from every angle, right? I think sometimes football is simple. Who's got the better quarterback and who's got the better defense? And while Kyle Hamilton is an awesome player for Notre Dame and their defensive line played really well, played better than I thought they would last week against Wisconsin, Cincinnati's definitely got the better quarterback. Desmond Ridder is a dynamic player, and not just as a runner. He spreads it around to a bunch of guys. He's more accurate than people realize. He can rip it. And we don't really even know who Notre Dame's quarterback is going to be in this game, right? Will Jack Cohn be ready to go? Will Tyler Buckner be back for this one? Is it going to be third string Drew Pine? I think that's his name. I'm sorry if I didn't get your name right, Drew, but I guess the only thing that has me hesitant on really going all in on the Cincinnati stuff, Ted, is the fact that Marcus Freeman is now the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. He is going to know everything that is going to mess Desmond Ridder up because he did it for 3 or 4 years. So that makes me a little hesitant, but you would assume these staffs are going to be very familiar with what the other team is going to want to do. But I do think Cincinnati's going to have some success running the football with Jerome Ford. I think their offensive line is solid. Notre Dame, with all of its O-line issues, I'm not sure it's going to have a ton of success against Cincinnati's defense. Like, Myjai Sanders is a dude, man. He looks the part. So it just feels like this is Cincinnati's Super Bowl, right? And I think they're going to win. I won't be shocked if they lose, but for college football, I hope Cincinnati gets it done. It'd be awesome.
I agree.
Be fun.
Just like I said on the last matchup, it's a weird year. Okay. And even though it's not weird to say that the better team is going to win the football game, we've seen some of these non-Power 5 teams that are really good have a moment like this where they're going against a Power 5 team that's got a low number next to their name, and you feel like they're the better team, and they go out there and they absolutely choke. They make way too much of the game. They try and do things that they don't need to do, and they choke. Cincinnati feels like they are prepared for this. They've been waiting for this moment. And I got to tell you, if you're a fan of college football, root for Cincinnati here. I already this season, there's so many more fan bases engaged with what's going on than there typically is. It's made the year so cool. And we're 4 games in. And there's how many teams there's more teams that have a chance of making the playoff this year than we've had in the last 5 years combined. It's awesome. So I think you're going to see some wild stuff, and I think Cincinnati gets it done. And after that, can they just hang on? They got a tough one against SMU late. They still have to play Central Florida. It's not going to be easy, but this is a big one for them. If they win this game, they may even be able, because of the weird year, they may even be able to have a loss somewhere.
No. Zero chance. Zero chance Cincinnati makes the playoffs if they lose a game. Not happening.
I don't know. You got to put a lot of trust in
it has been
Pac-12
proven.
that's been horrible. You've got to have a lot of trust in a Big Ten that's been bad. I mean, you got 4 SEC teams. The
I
ACC
will
is
bet you
terrible.
whatever you want to bet that a one-loss Cincinnati is not getting in the college football playoff ever.
Well, I tend to agree with that, but like I said, it's a weird year. And I don't trust that anyone, Alabama included, is going undefeated.
Which brings us to our next game. Number 12, Ole Miss, with 2 weeks to prepare, going to number 1, Alabama. What, first 50? Maybe? 60?
Yeah.
50?
You go high, keep going.
I am not sure there's a better quarterback in the country than Matt Corral right now. Arm strength, accuracy, touch on the deep ball, willingness to take risks with the football.
Yeah.
Swag. I mean, super athletic. Adds to the run game. I think he's got like 5 rushing touchdowns. And Dontario Drummond and Jonathan Mingo, a dynamic wide receiver duo. I mean, he's got dudes he's throwing to. And I know Bama's defense isn't elite right now. And there's no doubt they're going to struggle with the tempo that Ole Miss plays with. I mean, it is just, at times they put it in hyperdrive, man. But I do think Bryce Young in that Bama passing game with Jamison Williams and John Mechie and all those freaks they got at the skill positions, they're going to put up points. I mean, there's just no doubt in my mind. For whatever reason, it would be awesome for Lane Kiffin to be the first assistant to beat Nick Saban. I just can't imagine it happening, man. I've tried to get on the Ole Miss side of this game, and I just can't see Bama losing at home to Lane Kiffin. I can't close my eyes and see it. So there also is, with all the positive stuff around Matt Corral right now, there also is that possibility he reverts back to what he did last year. Couple like 4 and 5 interception games. That could happen Saturday in Tuscaloosa. Yeah. So I'm going with the Tide. I think betting against Alabama at home is just, it's just silly. I'm not going to believe that Ole Miss is going to Tuscaloosa and winning until I see it with my eyes.
They're going to do it. They're going to win.
Ooh.
You're going to see it with your eyes. Yeah, they're going to pull it off. Matt Corral. I think Matt Corral is the best player in college football this year. I do.
Do you enjoy watching anyone more than him?
No.
I'll say this. Now he's the most
Bryce
exciting.
Young's pretty good.
What'd you say?
I said Bryce Young's pretty fun to watch.
Bryce Young's pretty fun to watch. Also, I've caught up on all the Texas games this week. Bijan Robinson's really good.
Yeah.
He's very fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Well,
but quarterback-wise, I think I'm with you. Corral is, and with kind of his attitude and, like you said, the swag, he's got a little Baker in him, right? When it comes to his demeanor on the field, his attitude, like he is the most entertaining player in college football right now.
It takes an extreme amount of confidence to go in Tuscaloosa. Joe Burrow had it. Johnny Manziel had it. Matt Corral kind of fits that kind of group. Their offense is amazing. It's fun to watch. Defensively, they've been better. Like Lane Kiffin going in there to Lane Kiffin will have as much to do with that victory as I will if OU goes and beats Kansas State. He's like a figurehead head coach. He's not even he doesn't call the plays. He acts like he calls the plays. He's an absentee head coach is what Lane Kiffin is. And that's like the only reason I don't want to see it done, because I know that he's going to get all the credit for it, and it doesn't really have anything to do with him.
Okay, let's just say it. Let's say it. You and I have heard very similar things. Jeff Lebby runs that thing, man. He does.
That
Former
is Jeff
Sooner.
Levy's football team. Yep.
Ran it in the offseason, from what I was told.
Yeah, because Lane Kiffin didn't show up and wouldn't answer the athletic director's calls and is like all over the place. Stupid stuff. Stupid.
Levy's
But
the man.
he is. And I'm telling you, they're going to go in there. They're going to score a ton of points. They've got the swagger to do it. Yeah, I mean, it can come off the rails really quickly. But I think they got a really, really good chance to go pull it off. And you know what, Gabe? It's not a very good argument. There's no backing, but I continue to throw it out in like the last 3 matchups. So I'll say it again. It's a weird year, man.
That's your
year.
motto.
It's
That's
a
your
weird
motto.
year.
I like it. I mean, you're right. It is a weird year. Let's take a look at what the odds makers think. Ooh, Bama minus 14.5. Okay.
It's gone
Okay.
up. I thought it was like, wasn't it 12 at one point? 12.5, I think, is what they were favored, and it's extending just a little bit there.
One more thing to motivate Matt Corral. Just think of it that way.
Yeah.
One note, Ted, that may make you uncomfortable. Ole Miss, true freshman kicker.
Ooh.
If it comes down to that, just one thing to note.
Yeah.
And on that note,
that is pretty brutal.